So this is the Oz report for Saturday, December 18th, 2021, the last one before Christmas. And let's start with agency boosters. I talk about agency boosters a lot because of days like this. We have an event going on right now that is dropping agency boosters, and we probably also have login rewards right now that might be also dropping agency boosters. Either way, the increased supply is making these drop. These actually don't exist in the game. You cannot build them any other way. You're just giving them through events and login rewards. And so stuff like this, I've picked out the ones that have dropped the most and have the biggest market in that combination. And the two ones that are very hot right now, agency hard shell, those 4, right? This dropped. It was trading at 40 million, dropped down to 25, and right now is the time to go out there and put buy orders out and buy all of that oversupply. Sit on it, wait a few months, then sell it. It's the easiest trade you will ever do. Overclocker dose 2, same thing. It's the event came out. It overdropped. You can see here people are picking up 2,500 of these every day, mostly buy orders, as you can see by the orange dots right there. Very, very cheap right now. The buy orders are at 3 million. Go out there, buy them, sit on them, sell them later. So it's very, very easy. Let's talk freighters or capital ships overall. I said that earlier. We had a change happen this week where we actually they actually reduced the components needed to make a lot of these freighters and jump freighters. And so in the long term, all of the Q&A session and the changes they've made, the blog post they put out, all of that is indicating that they do think that possibly some of these ship groups are too expensive. So what I am doing right now is I am actually getting rid of some of these that I'm holding a lot of. So some of the crashing prices can be attributed to me. I'm sorry about that, but I just think it's too risky. I think CCP, while before they were firm on they want very expensive capitals, I think they've walked back on that a little bit in their messaging between the lines, and some of them very overtly, like with dreadnoughts. And so I do think that these changes are not going to be the last changes they make to capitals and their production components. And so I do think that they're going to drop. So I am dropping Charons, Nomads, Providences. I have too many of these, and I'm dropping them. Let's talk minerals and Moongoo. So first of all, we saw Tritanium and Megasite just absolutely skyrocket, right? That has, one to do with the end of scarcity didn't really come as people expected. So it came with a caveat, and that is the waste, or whatever it's called now. So I think overall, the mineral prices didn't crash as expected. On the other hand, we have new things to be produced, be it industrial cores or be it now ships that have been made cheaper through BPC changes. And so we are seeing increases in these basic materials, Megasite, Tritanium. If you look at the market availability of these, you can see that, let me pull that up. You can see for Megasite, for example, this is the availability of Megasite in the market. And you can see that it has been steadily coming down for the last 3 months. So there's just not a lot of Megasite left in the market, right? Hydrocarbons are for Moongoo, and they are used a lot in capital production and also in battleship production and all of the larger ships. The industry changes that were made in April introduced a lot of the components that these are used for, and so they have been rising steadily since April. They then reached a peak, dropped back down, but now they're rising again because some of the changes that were introduced make the capital production a little bit easier. So I think they reduced some of the PI components that are needed. So that is a little bit of that that bottleneck taken away. So I think the demand for hydrocarbons and some of the other R4 Mungus is actually higher again. Still, these are very, very expensive, and when CCP talks about removing bottlenecks, I think they're going to have a look at these as well. The extraction quantity was doubled recently, this week as well, as part of that new change. So you know, maybe that will also put some downward pressure on it in the long term. I don't expect this to go up much more. It's the direction it's going to be down. Thulium is something that we love to invest in on this stream. So Thulium actually had a spike again and went back up to 26. It was 23 last week when we talked. So if you're holding a ton of Thulium, right, then I would think, like, as much as I want to take this to the moon, I would think as soon as this hits like high 26s, 27th, you probably want to get rid of it, because I cannot with a good conscience have all of you guys sitting on all these stockpiles. I probably have the biggest Thulium stockpile in the game, and I'm selling it little by little, because as you know, I pull out very slowly, as I iterated last week. Mining drones, right? Mining drones are not popular right now. So augmented mining drones and excavator mining drones all severely crashed ever since they announced the newest mining changes. They are just not used in the same fashion as they used to, and I think most people investing in them was hoping that we would actually see a renaissance of mining after scarcity. That didn't happen, and so I think a lot of people are now getting rid of them. So if you look at the augmented drone markets right now, it's the exact opposite from Megasite. This is the amount of augmented mining drones on the market, and that has just been, steadily increasing since September. So way oversupply. If you're feeling risky and you think that some more nerfs or buffs are coming, then you might want to invest in them right now, as they are very, very, very cheap. All right, PI, cryoprotected solutions. I mentioned these earlier in the stream. These are input PI for implants, and so with the new event dropping implant blueprints, I think a lot of people want to produce them, and that's why it has spiked quite significantly. Again, if we look at the amount of cryoprotectant solution on the market, that's just gone, right? It's completely gone. If you're sitting on a stockpile of these right now, is time to sell them, and you better compete with me, because I have about I think 50 billion of this sitting around. So again, pulling out slowly, but I am controlling these prices a little bit, and not letting them get too high. As you can see here, I always have some sell orders out here on this is the Aeon fund that you're looking at. Ships, don't want to talk about all of these actually. Let me pick some out. Praxis and Gnosis, yeah? These are the ships that you cannot build in game. You only get them in May through Capsuleer Day. They're awesome beginner ships, okay? And they've been, as the year goes on, they become rarer and rarer, because only the traders like me and some of you out there are holding these stockpiles, because we bought a ton of them in May. Right? When they come out and they drop in price, we buy a lot of them. Now, because of the event that's going on, they are very, very popular right now. So if you're sitting on these right now, again, is the time to sell these. I've sold dozens of these over the last week. Gnosis as well, same deal, right? Low skill Low skill requirements, just like the Praxis. So if you're sitting on these right now is the time to sell. Or you can speculate on them rising even higher until May, but you know, this event is one of the biggest events of the year, so it might be time to sell them right now. Everything else, let me see. The Navy ships all jumped, and on some of them I don't know why. I know Ratati in the Q&A, he mentioned that he likes Navy issue battleships. I think if I remember correctly. So possibly that is one of the meme reasons. But they've just all gone through the roof. You know, the Dominics on the forefront. If you're holding Navy issue ships right now is the time to sell. The Federation Navy comment is probably because of the event that is the Battle Arena event that is going on right now. Yeah, all of the other battleships, some of these went up just because of the announcement. I said early in stream, I don't think that battleships are going to rise in price in the long run. CCP said they are going to make the battleship stronger. That doesn't mean the price is going to increase, right? It doesn't mean buffs that are short-term making ships stronger don't in the long term increase ship prices unless they increase raw material prices. The only way that would increase the price in the long run if the market was so big that they would actually cause a shortage in raw materials, and these markets aren't big enough to do that in terms of overall materials. So I don't think that there's going to be a huge price spike in the end. It's going to be a short-term one, so ride it in the short term and then sell it again. Let me close out by talking about filaments, chaotic dark filaments, okay? I've been telling people for 2 years that these are too cheap. And not that I knew that this was going to happen, right? I was just saying in general, they can be popular and they're cheap. This has now happened, okay? Chaotic dark filaments have doubled or tripled in price. Right now is the time that you want to sell these. So if you've been listening to me and you've been bitching at me and you actually stuck through and you still have stockpile of these, make sure you sell them. On the other hand, chaotic exotic filaments, they are kind of cheap right now. If you look at the buy price at 12 million, that is crazy. 12 million for a chaotic exotic filaments. Get some buy orders in there, guys. I mean, that's just somebody dumped a ton of them onto the market, crashing the price. Contaminated nanite compound, popular salvage used in regular rigs and capital rigs. The volume's still high, but there's just not enough production going on for this to recover. It just keeps on dropping, but right now it is so cheap that I'm just riding that wave. Even though it's a downward spiral, I'm buying more and more of these because at some point I am convinced that it's going to turn around. Believe me or not, do as you please. I'll finish the day with Plex. Plex is still at 2.9 million. However, you can see that we have reached peak Plex of this wave. Peak Plex of this wave that is very, very cyclical, as you can see here. Look at Atom Free for a long-term graph there. But Plex is on the way down. Right now, 2.9 is still a fantastic price to sell them at. I have liquidated my entire Plex stack because I do think that it's going to go down in price and that we will be able to rebuy cheaper at some point in the future. I will leave you with that. We're going to return to the regular stream. It's good to be back with the Oz report. We're going to try to keep doing this every week. Yeah, see you guys next week. Bye.